Oh, and what fun you're all going to have in the different points in your river on your way to the different things that you're wanting as you're rooting for each other and praising each other and knowing that each other will have success and not nitpicking over who should want what and not squabbling over resources because you understand that there are no shortages. It's so interesting to watch the religions of the world. It's enough that you fight over oil, but when you fight over God, that's just going too far. That's just going too far. When you say, God is only here where we are, and all of those other heathens out there, they don't have the path to God. And we say, oh, God is downstream for everyone. And you can individually hold yourself apart from that well-being or flow with it, but it's not dependent upon what church you're standing in or what book you're holding. It's dependent upon which way you're pointed in this stream. And that which you call God, and that which you call right, and that which you call life, and that which you call love, and that which you call health and well-being, it's all downstream. It's all in the stream that feels like ease and passion and joy.
That makes the most sense to me. I was raised in a religion, and when I listen to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, that feels like beats my heart and brings joy. And the more that I'm flowing downstream, I feel like a little kid. Well, and I want to play on the playgrounds. Like
the religions don't have it all wrong. In other words, think about it. So think about a religion that says, here you are living life, and you will one day die, all accurate, and when you die, you will become something more, all accurate. And then think about a religion that says, and when you do good deeds, you will allow yourself eternally to be that joyful, exalted being that you are. Nothing wrong with that statement. But when they say, but when you do this thing that you should not do, then you are damned, they've got you pointed upstream. And that's the reason that you feel that guilt. That's the reason you feel that discord. But then when they say, but if you'll stop doing those evil deeds that I and my committee have decided are evil because it is in our economic best interest to call it that way. If you will no longer do that bad deed, then you will again be on the path to heaven. And so you say, well, since I want to be good and I want to be surrounded by that which is good, and since I believe what they say, because there are a lot of them and they have plaques and things, robes and important looking things, I will then do the thing that they say is the good deed. And in doing so, you turn your boat in the stream and you do feel better. We're not saying that religion is wrong or bad. We're just saying that in the midst of religion, use your God-given resources to know what you're doing in your relationship with your God, you see. Because there is no one between you and that. It is right there for you to taste and touch. So when you love someone, you're in alignment. When you hate someone, you're not. That ought to be clear. When you appreciate yourself for someone, you close your gap. When you find fault with yourself for someone, you widen your gap. What happens in religion is a lot of people get together and justify the negative emotion they're feeling by claiming its rightness. And then the more they push against it, the worse they feel. And then the more numbers they try to gather in order to justify until things get really out of hand. Things are sort of out of alignment in that regard. And we say, you don't have to wait for one of them to figure this out, because you can begin the closing of your gap in this moment. And when you do, you'll have the enlightenment of source flowing through you. And then your response to everything will be from that broader, wiser, all-knowing view. And that's the only view that any of you will ever be satisfied with. But we want to give you something that we think you may not be remembering. You were source energy. You came into this physical body. This life in this body caused you to become more, and the source energy part of you became more. So it's you not staying up to speed with you. In other words, that's the leading edge eternal you that you're reaching for, you see. And if you do anything less than that, you're going to feel dissatisfied. And there are so many people in so many churches, so many different churches around the world, that life has caused them to become more, and by holding fast to the doctrines of their religions, they are holding themselves apart from that which their life has caused them to become. And in time, they'll croak, and then they'll reemerge into non-physical, and they'll all have a good laugh about all of the reasons that they used as their excuse to not allow themselves to go with that flow.
Thank you.
And when they get there, you're going to find people in your heavenly church that you never thought you'd see there. All colors of skin, all shades of everything. In other words, you are all source energy. And anytime any one of you looks at any other and says, me, not you, you're pointed upstream and you've widened your gap. In other words, you cannot exclude anyone from the well-being that is eternal without, in that moment, being the one who has excluded yourself. You have no control over any other. And that's why the churches are getting meaner and meaner and meaner and meaner and meaner, is because they are working harder and harder and harder at maintaining control. And it's a futile battle because the stream is so much more powerful. The dilution ratio is so wonderful. In other words, just when they get the old stogies all convinced that this is the way, it feels miserable, but it's the way to heaven, then they croak and new ones come in that say, no, it's this way. And then they have to teach them all over again. And then they just about get them all pointed this way. And then they croak. And then a whole new bunch comes in. And meanwhile, a whole bunch that were pointed this way, like you, are pointing this way. And so it's a battle that they cannot win. You might as well give in to your inevitable well-being.
Hi, Abraham. Thank you so much for the opportunity to ask you this question. I'd like to know how souls who have passed over to the other side are helping us. Are they helping us? I'm assuming they are. And how we can work with them or let their assistance in to help us.
Well, when you think about how you are source energy, you are in physical form, you launch further rockets of desire, and source becomes that. Those friends that you have known in physical form who are now non-physically focused, they are part of that non-physical energy that is calling you toward what you are wanting. And the more closely you associate with them, the more refined, specific help they can give you, because your expectation of their calling, so to speak, is keener than when you are just thinking in terms of the nebulous non-physical that is rooting for you. It's all about attention or focus. It's a huge non-physical team of assets, you might say, that are all working toward the outcome that you have defined as your desire through the life that you are living. Have you ever there had with that feeling that you someone are able to identify who it is? There is nothing that is dead about non-physical at all. The other day, Jerry and Esther were in one of their favorite restaurants in San Diego. They went there specifically to relive old times, so to speak. It was the first place that Esther ate swordfish with Jerry, and they still believe that it is the best swordfish that they eat anywhere, and they eat swordfish everywhere. And so as they walked into the restaurant, there was a picture of a man, a very comfortable looking man, sitting in a wooden boat, all casual and relaxed. He had a drink in his hand and a big smile on his face. And Jerry and Esther both noticed the picture. It was odd how it caught both of their attention. And Jerry asked the hostess, who is that in the picture? And she said, it is Mr. So-and-so. He is the owner of this chain of restaurants, and he has recently died. And right away, Jerry and Esther had a sense of that was why they were drawn to see the picture. Maybe it had not been there before, and maybe it had, but they could feel something striking about their awareness of it. So they sat to eat, and Jerry is expressing to Esther how he loves this restaurant so much, and even though there are others of the same name, that the food in this restaurant seems to be the very best. And I wonder why that is, he says. And this man, flowing through Esther, all full of energy and enthusiasm, looked right at Jerry and said, it's management. And Esther said, whoa, it was an exhilarating, what a jovial, good-feeling man. And then Jerry said, well, where did you find your managers? And he said, they were personal friends in the beginning.
Wow.
And then Jerry said, why is the food so much better here than at any of your other restaurants? And he said, because this is where I came every day, and I made sure that they were on it here. I lived nearby. And Jerry asked a few other questions, and Esther laughed more with him flowing through her than she does in a normal 5 or 10 minute conversation. He said, I would do something about these potatoes. I would talk to someone about these potatoes. They were not mixed to his liking. A sort of a gratin potato with big lumps in it. It was not smooth in the way that he liked it. And so Esther said, I don't know why we even think in terms of non-physical as being separate from us, because it is so not separate. And Jerry and Esther sitting there in love with life, in adoration and appreciation of this restaurant. And Esther, with her open valve, this man flowed right through and had lunch with them and commented even on what was going on, playfully answering all of Jerry's questions. And so then Jerry went to another woman in the restaurant and he said, how long have you worked here? And she said, 20 years. And Jerry said, did you know the owner? And she said, oh, yes, I knew him very well. And Jerry said, did he eat here? And she said, every day. He kept us on our toes. He lived nearby. And so we think it is time for all of you to accept that there is no necessary separation between what is physical and non-physical. And the separation, if it exists ever at all, is because the human part of you is not up to speed with the non-physical part of you. When you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you have access to that infinite intelligence. And we promise you, all of your beloved are there.
And can we do anything that would enable them to reach us in an easier fashion?
Well, we just told you.
Yeah,
be tuned in, tapped in. Be in vibrational alignment with who you are, because when you're deliberately closing that gap between who you are letting yourself be in this moment and who you really are, as you close that gap, guess who you're in alignment with? In other words, they're right there. And if there's something about them that's significant to you, you have access to it.
Thank you.
So, which is it, Abraham? Are we on the leading edge or are they on the leading edge? And we say, you're on the leading edge because you're giving birth to the newest desire. And your wanting is what is calling it all forward. But they are much better at allowing, and that's what we're trying to teach you to do. So you say, oh, so you're trying to teach us to behave like the dead ones. And we say, exactly. Since there is no death.
Isn't like bringing heaven on earth?
It is exactly that. That gate swings both ways.
Thank you.
Enough for you?
I could talk to you forever.
Get out. Come to our dimension where there is not time, and we will chat on endlessly. This has been a powerful gathering. It is exhilarating to us to hear you and to feel you and to acknowledge that you now understand. We can feel that you know. You now understand what's upstream and what's downstream. And we think we've done our best ever sales job of helping you decide that you want more and more, in more decisions, in more moments, to turn and go with the flow. There isn't anything that you're supposed to do. And friends, we promise you are not disappointing anyone here. We are proud of who you are. And even more than being proud of who you are and at peace with where you are, we have seen and have literally vibrationally become that which is the expanded version of you. And whether you come and join us in the creation that you have set into motion or not does not determine our love for you or appreciation for you or your value. But it does determine how you feel in this moment. You got to let yourself be that which you have become. And that's the power of this exercise that we just did through this little bit of visualization. She has become something that she wasn't before. And as she allows herself to turn and really become that feeling of making peace with where you are again and again will be the order of your day. You are going to come to love yourselves as you are. And when you love yourselves in the way that we love you, all that you have wished for must come into your experience. But then there will always be that new experience that causes you to wish for yet more. Because after all, you are eternal beings. Do not wish to get it all done. You can't.